Petty past was a big thing in our world. Me living so close, I just kept going out and just going, okay, we're gonna get out here. We're gonna get out here. Hard to say.
I'm not actually sure I ever had the dream of us all being out on Coyote Pass.
I've been watching Sister Wives on this channel for 6 years now, and I've covered it not because I personally care about what the Brown family is doing, but because I care about polygamy and the very real harms it causes to women and children. Over the years, I've seen patterns repeat themselves, patterns that illustrate the deep systemic problems in these communities. It's not just about one family or one individual. It's about a belief system and culture that prioritizes patriarchal control over human decency, a culture that teaches obedience over empathy, loyalty over truth, and silence over justice. I care about the damage it does to young men, who are often cast out of these communities for the smallest missteps, leaving them vulnerable, isolated, and struggling to find their place in the world. I care about the way polygamy affects entire subcultures, perpetuating cycles of control and emotional manipulation, convincing people that the only way to reach heaven is through plural marriage. And the men? They often believe that their authority over wives and children is divinely sanctioned, which compounds a harm. But let me be clear, not every woman in these communities is evil. Not every woman is bad. Some are just not good people. Some are manipulative. Some knowingly participate in these harmful structures while pretending to be virtuous. That doesn't mean all women are bad, but some definitely are, and this episode proves it in a very stark way. What really struck me was that it wasn't necessarily what Robyn said in the episode. It was what she didn't say. Her silence, her absence in key conversations, and her lack of accountability made it clear that she is someone who operates with self-interest at the forefront. She is full of crap, and I've known that for a long time. This isn't sudden realization, it's confirmation. And the context here is critical. The Brown family went through a tragedy when Garrison Brown ended his life. And at the center of that tragedy was a young man who'd been cast out by his father, Kody. Why? Out of spite, anger, jealousy, a toxic combination that reflects deeply on the family dynamic. Garrison's inability to get along with his father's manipulative and narcissistic wife, Robyn, only exacerbated the situation. And because Garrison was a truth teller, someone willing to speak honestly even when it was uncomfortable, he became a target. He was lashed out at, criticized, and bullied by Robyn for years. Robyn spent multiple seasons actively getting Kody riled up about his sons. She stoked his anger. She fueled tension. And all of this was over minor things like some child having the audacity to call her about COVID or question something. And that in itself shows a fundamental problem with the way Robyn operates. She weaponizes children, relationships, and trust to maintain her narrative. And let's get real about responsibility. As adults, as parents, it is our job to be the parent, to act responsibly, to nurture and guide children, even adult children. Relationships between adult children and parents can be complicated. Yes, they can be messy and fraught with history, but the responsibility always lies with the parent. And Robyn? She fails at this consistently. The real problem with Robyn is that she has never treated the kids like kids. She treated them like many adults, burdened with expectations they didn't sign up for, while simultaneously holding grudges against children who didn't accept her immediately upon joining the family. When children struggle with her presence, she blamed them. That is a toxic pattern, and it has consequences. Sure, mixing families is difficult. Sure, adding new family members into an already complex web of relationships can be messy. But her responses weren't normal, they weren't nurturing, and they weren't compassionate. When children misbehave, it's usually a symptom of a bigger problem. Anxiety, abuse, neglect, witnessing unhealthy family dynamics. In Kody's children's case, including Janelle, Christine, and Mary, the kids were seeing firsthand the way their dad treated Robyn's children differently from them. That creates resentment, confusion, and long-term emotional harm. Robyn spent much of her life fostering an us versus them mentality. She used relationships with children as tools to validate her grievances, weaponizing loyalty and obedience as a means to control the narrative. At first, her target was Hunter, who didn't accept Solomon's birth or her role in the family. And when Hunter said, "You're not my mom," he was speaking the truth. Robyn's
Ask me, can't we just relax the roles? I mean, I do want to be careful, but these aren't my rules.
reaction? She doubled down, continued her manipulative behaviors, and positioned herself as the victim while undermining the children. That is not adult behavior. That is abusive. You can have difficult interactions with children. Conflicts happen. Emotions run high. Families are complicated. But punishing a child for being a child, for expressing feelings, For reacting to a challenging family dynamic? That is cruel, and it's precisely what Robyn has done. If she were truly the great communicator she claims to be, she would have recognized the long-term consequences of pitting Kody against his kids. She would have known that this strategy would cause lasting damage to the family dynamic. Instead, this episode shows just how damaging it can be. When Mykelti decided to move, Robyn was nowhere to be found. She had zero comments, no sound bites, no acknowledgement of Mykelti leaving. And Mykelti? She didn't say a single negative word about Robyn. She was honest, candid, and expressed her own frustrations, explaining that she wanted to leave partly to escape the drama, something she had been saying for years. Mykelti was tired of being caught in the middle. She was tired of being used as a pawn. Mykelti even explained that her relationship with Robyn changed after Garrison's death because Robyn's behavior didn't align with how someone would normally act after such profound loss. Her reactions were inconsistent, unpredictable, and emotionally distant. And Robyn's silence? It created more division, more distance, more confusion. She wasn't providing support. She wasn't offering empathy. She wasn't showing love. She was absent emotionally, only appearing to care about material or symbolic things. For instance, the only tears Robyn shed in this episode were about money and property, parcels of land, Coyote Pass, and other unused assets that had no infrastructure or real significance for the children. She wasn't worried about the children. She was holding on to a fantasy about polygamy. She referred to Kody's children not as her own, but as his kids. Think about that. Legally, she is Kody's wife. She's been married to him for 10 years. She refuses to call his children her own. She separates them. She others them. It's not their family. It's his family. That is cruel and calculated. And then there's Kody. He runs constantly. He moves. He hides. He makes excuses about creditors, debts, or obligations to other wives. But the truth is simpler than all that. He's avoiding heartbreak. He's avoiding confronting the emotional pain of his estranged son's death. And the excuses he gives? I don't buy them. I don't believe them. Kody's avoidance is systemic. He is used to running, used to deflecting responsibility, used to prioritizing himself over the people who matter most. Meanwhile, Robyn pretends to consider a new house, claiming she wants space for the kids even though space already exists. It's never really about space. It's about control, about appearances, about maintaining a narrative. Kody stages a fake conversation with Robyn about buying another house. And what's Robyn focused on? Size. She wants a house big enough for herself, her comfort, and her image. It's never about the children's well-being. Christine points out that things are not what she hoped. The strain between Kody, Robyn, and Mykelti is visible. Kody's response? Trash talking and innuendo. Robyn? Silence. Mykelti has spent her adult life trying to build bridges in this fractured family. She tried to foster relationships, support her siblings, and maintain ties to her mother and father. And what happens when she steps up? Kody publicly frames her actions as disloyalty. He weaponizes words. He spins a narrative where her loyalty is questioned. And Robyn? She says nothing. She doesn't defend Mykelti. She doesn't show compassion. She doesn't intervene. She owes Mykelti her support, and she fails. She once praised Mykelti's parenting, visited her home, included her in births, and acknowledged her care. But now, when Kody publicly attacks Mykelti, Robyn stands silent. She never cared for Mykelti as a daughter. She used her as a prop. Their love was conditional, based not on care or empathy, but on obedience and performance. Mykelti tried to be the peacemaker. She tried to take the high road. And that behavior, which once protected her, now becomes the reason she's attacked. And consider this. Mykelti was taken in by Robyn when she was 12 or 13. That is a vulnerable age, a critical period for emotional development. Robyn used her, manipulated her, and fostered dependency for years. Now, when Mykelti expresses hurt, frustration, and grief over her brother Garrison's death, there's no compassion, no acknowledgement, and no support. Kody gets to speak freely, to attack, to trash talk any way he chooses. Robyn allows it silently. The message is clear. Only Kody and Robyn can control the narrative. Only they determine loyalty. Only they define who is accepted and who is cast out. Even when discussing bringing children back into the fold, Robyn refers to them as not her kid. Kody speaks about having space for Truly, but it's performative. Truly doesn't come to the house because she's not treated as part of the family. Kody ignored her when she visited. The emotional distance they've created is the real reason she stays away. And Christine suing for child support? That's when Kody suddenly cares about space opportunism at its finest. And yes, the discussion of a new house is all about size. Robyn wants a massive house, space for herself, space for grandchildren, space for business, not for kids. Kody knows the only way to keep Robyn satisfied is to material indulgence, expensive watches, luxury gifts, the illusion of care. Truly, the one child actually attempting to repair relationships is completely crushed by their selfish performative actions. This episode, this entire pattern, proves it. Robyn and Kody are evil in how they treat Mykelti. Robyn's mask has slipped. She is an awful human being. Doing this to Mykelti, who has given so much and tried to keep family together, is disgusting and it's unforgivable. The emotional manipulation, the silent cruelty, the performative gestures, all point to a family dynamic built on ego, control, and conditional love. This isn't parenting. It isn't care. It isn't empathy. It's toxicity. So that's my take. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thank you so much.